Our guest, he's a golf nut, an author, a producer, a fantasy football stablemate. You can find his work, Club Pro Guy's other black book, where fine books are sold. It's the Dutch Mook himself, Paul Koehorst. What's happening, Paul?
Hey, Sal. Hey, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, it's great to have you. Hey, how is this book? How is your book selling in Saudi Arabia right now?
That's a great question. I was thinking about that. I'm sitting here, been tweeting all week, complaining about this thing like I'm on my high horse. But then again, I wrote jokes for Ryan Seacrest for 2 years. So who am I to be like, oh,
right. Exactly.
I wouldn't take the money.
Well, that's the thing, right? So it's many fewer tournaments to make the same money. Golfers 150 and below, it makes much more sense for them to take the money, right? And yet, this guy's kind of a murderer.
Yep.
I'm trying to look at it because I know it's a slippery slope. You start looking into the sponsors of some of these tours, and guess what? The PGA, which mostly caters to older white men, I'm sure they have some skeletons in their closet too. But is this overall a failure for the PGA? I'm trying to think like where it went wrong. Did the LIV or the LIV see that Tom Brady's playing Bryson DeChambeau every other week and say, okay, we're going to make our move now? Like, where did it go wrong?
Well, I think some people said the biggest issue is the structure of the way the PGA Tour is made. It's a nonprofit basically, and I think the guys are missing out on the big revenue that comes with the TV contracts and all that. So they need to restructure it so that the players are getting some of that money. That seems the big issue. But there are all these guys that find themselves in this gap. Luke Donald, Hunter Mahan, Anthony Kim. There's tons of guys who had these incredible careers. David Duval, into their 30s, and then they kind of lost their game. And so if they could find this bridge between being basically retired at 35 and the senior tour at 50, and they can make themselves relevant.
Is there a bridge? You're saying there's a bridge to Saudi Arabia? Because that makes it much, much more appealing, I think.
I mean, the Saudis that's the kind of money they have. Yeah. It goes straight from Saudi Arabia down to South Florida.
I mean, gas must be ridiculous to make that trek, but yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah. Wow. So I don't know. Yeah. I mean, and then you have Brooks Koepka says yesterday that all the live questions are throwing a black cloud over the US Open, which, first of all, I think that's a little racist, but also could you see him leaving too? I mean, are most of these guys just going to leave for this?
I think that the guys who left this first week did a big favor for a lot of these guys who want to do it now, because slowly as these names trickle out, there's less and less heat to go around. And some of these names that have come out are names that people, guys love to kind of hate a little bit anyway. Sergio, Ian Poulter, I guess Reed is headed out, Bryson. And so those guys are going to catch so much heat. So there's a guy like Taylor Gooch who came out, there's going to be plenty of cover now. And, look, I think all of us golf fans, who are holding out for the golfers of the world to take a moral stand against Saudi Arabia are really, that was pretty unrealistic to think that they are going to be this bastion of this pillar of morality,
Right. Yeah, it's not happening. Speaking of, let's look at this leaderboard here for the US Open. Rory favored 10-1 odds, won last week, right? What tournament was that last week? I bet him. I don't even know what tournament it was.
RBC.
Canadian Open. Right.
RBC Canadian.
That's right. Yep. Justin Thomas, 12-1, Rahm 15, Scheffler 15. And then you get into all the camp, like the next 6 cams are right in there somewhere. I don't know. Cam Smith is 21-1. This course though, Mook, crazy. First of all, they call it the Country Club. That is lazy. I imagine like a couple rich massholes got drunk and named this thing. But also it's in Boston. It's Brookline. It's the second smallest greens in recent major championship history behind Pebble Beach. We've seen videos of the ball landing in the middle of the fairway, like 270 yards, and then rolling into the Boston Harbor. I don't know what the hell body of water that is, but is this going to be more of a disaster than people are making out to be?
Well, it seems to me what I'm most interested in is we have the small greens' ability to hit greens. The greens are very undulating, and putting will be a challenge. But I do think the putting will not be, I think, as important as the ability to actually just hit a lot of greens, and especially a lot of blind tee shots. It's not a long course. It's going to be about 72-50. So it's not going to be the longest course out there. but hitting greens, I think, will make the biggest difference for these guys. I got a dog in here wants to go outside.
Look at that. All right. That means bet the dog. Actually, everyone's a plus, so I don't even know what that means. But all right, so get us started. Who do you like? Then we'll go around the horn here and we'll pick. Who's your favorite to win?
Well, the interesting thing about this tournament is there's so many players out there, or popular players, that you can find a reason to bet for him. Justin Thomas's form has been great. He came off a PGA. He won this PGA kind of out of nowhere. He's played a bunch of gritty rounds this year. Rahm's going to go for this repeat, and of course, it seems to set up well for him. Rory's recent form has been phenomenal. Scheffler, his form has been great, but I'm going to go Justin Thomas. His last 4 events: 5th place, 1st place, a missed cut, which he was probably mostly just hung over from winning the PGA the week before, and a 3rd place. He's 1st place in strokes getting off the tee this year. He's 4th in greens and regulation. He has a couple top 10s in US Opens. And you know what I've really been impressed with? He played some rounds this year that were some of the grittiest rounds that I've seen. He had the wrong side of the draw in that PGA Championship. So he had horrible weather he had to endure and had the toughest conditions to endure. And then in the Players Championship also, he had a horrible draw in that event, and he played an incredible round, making up tons of strokes in the field in the worst of the weather. And that's exactly the kind of round and the kind of golf these US Opens always demand. So I would love to see, I would not be surprised to see JT, instead of having to really push from the back, just kind of come out from the beginning and really have a great performance.
All right. Harry, I know you like Justin Thomas in the past, but you're going Scheffler here.
It's hard now. I mean, 15 to 1, his last 11 tournaments, guys. 4 wins and a second. Second in greens and regulation, 3rd in birdies. His putting has been just tremendous. So many saves on when he could have been in a lot of trouble, and he's making 15-footers to save himself. And by the way, just throw in, just to show how dominant he has been. He's 1st in FedEx points, and that's by over 1,000 points over Sam Burns. Wow. No one's even close. So I'm going to take Scheffler. Why not? At 15 to 1, he's 15 to 1. He's been fantastic. I
don't even know what that means. FedEx. I might have 300 FedEx points for all that, but it seems impressive. I will say this: the last month he hasn't been great, though, has he, Scheffler? I know I bet him last weekend. He didn't do well.
Watch the playoff.
Paul, you came on for the PGA. He said you got to cover him because you're not going to want to feel good about. You want to feel good about yourself Sunday. Right? With the PGA Championship, you liked him?
He did. And look, I actually see, I like that play. I mean, 1,200 for JT, and his form has been as good as anybody on tour still throughout the year. It's been phenomenal. And it's, plus 1,500 versus plus 1,200 on JT. Then pushing. You can't go wrong with Scheffler. I love that play.
All right. Parlay Kid, I looked at this too. The mid-ranger, I kind of like Matt Fitzpatrick here.
Yeah, that's who I'm landing here is Matt Fitzpatrick, Sal. One of the things I always do is to see, how do these guys play at this course before? Well, you might say, well, maybe these guys haven't really played too much at this course. Fitzpatrick won this, the U.S. Amateur Tournament back in 2013 here at this course. He's comfortable here, plays well here. And as we're saying, this course doesn't play long. And what Fitzpatrick really excels at is in his short game. Right, he's not great off the tee. He's not a great driver, but the rest of his game is really outstanding, which should play well here. He's had in the last year. He's had 7 top 10 finishes. Okay, going back from around this time last year back to this calendar part of the year, he's been solid. He was 10th last week, finished strong, going 3 under on the final day at the RBC Canadian Open last week. He was 14th at the Masters a couple months ago. He's going to be in contention here, Sal. I'm pretty convinced of it.
All right. Are you sure that's the Fitzpatrick who's excelled on this Boston course? There's so many Fitzpatrick. There's got to be 1,000 of them.
This is true.
All right. I will, let me jump on. Oh no, Brian, you're going Zalator. So I think is the FanDuel, the biggest liability I read on FanDuel.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to take Spieth, and then 10 minutes before we did the podcast, I heard he left practice early. He might be sick. So I am taking Zalatoris at 27 to 1. He's been playing real exceptional this season, right? He finished 5th at the Memorial 2 weeks ago, 2nd at the PGA Championship, 6th at the Masters, has 10 top 10 finishes in 17 events. He's 2nd tee to green. It's really, it probably comes, for him, it probably comes down to putting, right? If he can get his putting right, he can definitely win this thing. So I liked him at 27 to 1.
Yeah, the Mook says putting doesn't matter in this tournament. All right.
Well, feel a little better.
I'm valuing ball striking over putting on this one. That's for sure. Because here's like, for example, you're talking about the second smallest greens. Look at Pebble Beach, a golf course with the small screens of a major. The biggest issue is your position on those greens.
Right.
If you're putting yourself in the right position on those greens, if you're below the hole consistently, those are not challenging greens. If you are out of position and not ball striking, don't have control of your golf ball, that's where you're going to have real insane putting problems. And so the great ball strikers, those are the ones that I do have more faith in on greens like that.
All right. How about this? Because it's such a quirky course. I'm going with a guy like Shane Lowry. Not like him, exactly like him. Shane Lowry, 30-1 odds. First of all, he's paired with Phil and Louis O, so you might have that LIV grudge. Do you say live or LIV, Paul? What is it?
No one knows.
Okay.
I am a golf obsessive fan. I have no freaking clue if it's live, if it's LIV, if it's 45, because the whole.
I was just going to say, what is the Greek number? Is it 45? That's what it is?
Oh, no, it's
55.
I think it's 50. It's 54. It's 54 because they play 54 hole events. I have no idea what it is.
Oh, that's what it is.
A failure on Greg Norman's part. 54 hole events.
Interesting. All right. Well, Lowry's your guy here. Tied for third at the Masters. I know it's a different course. I don't like saying this, but he's made 6 of the last 7 cuts at the US Open, but it's a different course, so it's stupid. Ninth in fairways gained, first in good drives gained, third in GIRs gained. You know me with the GIRs.
Can't get enough.
25th or better in 5 of the last 6 majors. Of his last 10 starts, finished in the top 5 3 times, finished in the top 20 in 6 of those 10. Just the kind, like I said, of quirky golfer who doesn't let a weird course like this affect him. I think he's good to go at 30-1. What else you got, Paul, for like a long shot or a prop?
Well, Harry and I talked about this briefly in the PGA Championship. I put like 5 or 6 single unit plays on some kind of 70-1 type guys. Mm-hmm. And one of them happened to be Mito Pereira. And with the great thing that put me in this position on that Sunday round to live bet and hedge a whole bunch. Yeah. So I got to, Zalatoris, I got to put Zalatoris at the beginning of that round at decent odds. And then at the very end, where it seemed like basically it was JT, Mito or Zalatoris, I was able to actually make a nice profit even when Mito melted down. So I really do, if you're going to watch it on Sunday, if you're in a place where you can live bet it, I like having 5 or 6 bets on some of those longer guys. So some names you could put some money on there. I like Seamus Power. I think he's around 90. Sebastian Munoz, Davis Riley, and the local guy, Keegan Bradley. I like having some of those guys because maybe they won't win, but they can, even if they're there on Sunday, give you an opportunity to put a bigger play on someone else who's lingering there. Right. Okay. That's smart.
Paul, I do want to say, I do like the Power too a little bit. He tied for 9th at the PGA, but what about a guy like on the European Tour? I know you scope out that plenty too. Victor Perez, Frenchman. He won the Dutch Open. He was 3rd at the European Open.
No way.
At top 20, you get him at plus 650. He's been playing really good golf of late.
I got to say I have not been on Victor Perez, but you know what, Harry, I'm always on you. So I might
nice, Paul.
I don't know. Nobody likes
played
that.
Very well lately.
Don't say that. Harry said he had a question for you. What's the question? Maybe
I was going to ask, Paul, like I know 8 years ago at 25, Rory won his 4th major. And we thought, here we go. At 25, this guy's the greatest thing ever. He's going to have 10 by now. You know what? He hasn't had one since 2014. Sal mentioned he's 10-1. He's also top 5 at plus 190, plus top 10, plus 115. His last 5 tournaments, he's been fantastic. He's finished in the top 20 in all of them, and he's got 4 top.
There's no question. I was just kidding, Paul. There's no question. Harry just wants to show how smart.
And he shot a 62 in the last 8th Canadian Open. Do you give him a shot? Harry. Does he? That's when he gets it again.
Well, I think he's one of those guys that we all love him, but he has now for a decade broken our hearts over and over again because we see that swing and we've. Everyone I know who's a golf punter has played him a whole bunch and has just had their heart broken in so many consecutive majors with 30 some odd majors in a row now. Mm-hmm. So, and an interesting thing also is in the modern Open era, no player has won a PGA Tour event the week before and then won the Open the following week. So,
oh, wow.
That doesn't necessarily bode well, but
His putting over the last month has been the best I've seen it in a long time.
Give us some numbers.
I'm just saying it's been. I've watched. I don't have no numbers. I just know what I know. What I see.
I dare you to bet him. Bet him.
As soon as we bet him, it falls apart.
I dare you to bet him.
For sure.
Maybe on Saturday. We'll see.
What's a good long shot from you, Parlay Kid?
Well, Sal, I saw this Ringer special on FanDuel.
Oh, please. Yeah.
Did you see these Ringer
What's the
specials?
Ringer?
Is it still around, the Ringer? Wow, I haven't heard anyone talk about that in years.
I couldn't believe it. That's why I was like, I guess I gotta have to throw them a little bit of a bone here. They probably could use it, right?
Yeah.
So, so this is on FanDuel, and Sal, I like these. I used to always like making the to make the cut parlays, right? And this enables me to do this right here with 5 players, 3 of them who we just picked here, that you, Brian, and Harry picked to make the cut.
So
I
you
have
don't have a
Scheffler
chance.
to make the cut,
Yeah.
Zalatoris to make the cut, Lowry to make the cut, Tony Finau to make the cut, and this is the guy I know who will screw me, so I'll just say it now, Xander Schauffele to make the cut. At plus 280, right? So we talk about guys who like
it's not bad.
Rory, who screw us all the time. Schauffele is like kryptonite. Anytime I ever take the guy in anything, he never comes through. But I kind of like that at plus 280. Paul, who out of all those 5 guys would you think would not make the cut? Scheffler, Finau, Schauffele, Zalatoris, Lowry.
Well,
who would you think?
I
has
probably
the
only
least chance of making.
I would probably say Finau is my kryptonite guy, but Finau has been playing fantastically, and there's a point to be made that the US Open, especially over the last few years, look dating back to the last 20 years, has been a power course. I mean, look at the winners have been DJ, Tiger Woods, Brooks, Gary Woodland, Bryson, John Rahm, powerful, strong guys. And he very much, it fits that bill, that build. So, I guess I do like Finau, but yeah, I could see him or Xander having me pull my hair out. But that said, I like that bet.
All right. Plus 280,
nice.
Not bad for those 5. All right. Brother Brian, we've certainly given Justin Thomas enough love over Rahm.
Yeah, I'm taking him in the matchup over Rahm. It's pretty much even money here. But yeah, like Paul was saying, JT's been fantastic of late. 3 top 5 finishes in his last 4 tournaments, 9 top 10s in his last 15. He was awesome in the RBC on Sunday, with the exception of that terrible tee shot that he had on 17. That screwed me. That screwed me right there. But I think right now he's just playing a little bit better at the moment than Rahm here. So I think he's, I like him. Top 5 play, top 10 play, but I like him. I think the most over Rahm.
Harry, you're shorting Morikawa here. What's happened to him? He's real. I mean, I guess you got a lot of these young. There's just everybody's 24 years old and hits the ball well, and just and so you can't expect them to come back every week to repeat. But you're going Finau over Morikawa, right?
Yeah, Finau over Morikawa for the entire tournament at minus 112. Paul mentioned Finau's been fantastic lately. 4th and 2nd in his last 2 tournaments. He played the weekend last week in Canada, shot 62-64. And meanwhile, Morikawa, frankly, has not been good. Hasn't hit in the top 25 in 5 straight tournaments, and he hasn't shot lower than a 70 in 12 straight rounds. I got Finau over Morikawa at minus 112. I think that should be a little higher.
All right. I am going with, I guess I'm all foreigners here because I like Lowry and I like Fleetwood. And plus, I think the foreigner to win is plus 240 or non-US. I'm sorry, European is plus 240. I really shouldn't just put people in 2 buckets. I got to do my research in terms of, should have taken a humanities class somewhere along the line. He doesn't win in the US. I don't need him to here to get top 20, 2-1 odds. Tied for 16 or better in 5 of his last 9 starts, 2 top 5 finishes at this event. Again, I get it. It's not we can't really hold him to what he shot at Shinnecock and say, well, it's going to transfer to Brookline. But top 15 at the Masters, top 5 at PGA, good work at the majors. I'm going Fleetwood, top 20, 2-1. Another one who's kind of disappeared, Mook, right? Like not normally in Sunday contention, but I just read you the numbers. He kind of is quietly under the radar doing good work, right?
I think it's another guy with it that a lot of us have played for a while and to a lot of disappointment. And as a result, I think there's been a little bit less enthusiasm about backing him.
Yeah, that's what happens.
I got two more plays though that I'm really excited about.
Dude,
and
give us one of those guys that's like a +8, doesn't belong on the tour, was washing cars last week. We love that. We all jumped on it last time, and I think it got us. We pushed with it the first day, and then we went back to it Friday, and the guy was like +8 in the first hole.
Yeah, that was yes. And
who was that?
So I got a double Bryson fade play though. So in round one, Justin Rose is playing Bryson and Gary Woodland. You know, of all the golf insanity this week, Justin Rose bogeyed the last hole to shoot a 60 in Canada last week. And this was like, that's still a huge deal. There've been a few more 59s now, but to almost join the 59 club is a huge thing. And I could see Justin, who's been a good US Open player, kind of parlaying that. He's +145 over Bryson. And Bryson's health is still a total question mark. He's also notoriously thin-skinned. Massachusetts, you know, the Massachusetts fans, I'm sure, are going to take every opportunity to crawl up his ass because that's fun. And Woodland's been terrible. I think he's missed 4 out of his last 6 cuts. So I think I like that play. Justin Rose +145 in round one to beat Bryson and Gary Woodland. And I also like Bryson -235 to miss the cut. I mean, he's missed, like I said, missed 4 out of his last 5 cuts, and his health is a mystery. And I think he's going to catch a lot of heat from the Live Tour stuff or the whatever you want to call it. And I think he'll catch some heat this week, and I think it'll get under his skin a little bit. And he'll be happy to be getting a fat paycheck in Portland in a few weeks.
You know, if you could find it, it's hard to find. I'm not sure that FanDuel has it, but I love betting players to not make the cut, but also to not make the top 40, because at the PGA, if you had Koepka and Tiger to not make the cut, you lost. But if you had them to not make the top 40, you won. So look for that, and look for the Mooks Warriors to blow this 3-2 advantage. No, what happens? Is it over?
Hey, I think I gave everyone Warriors in 5 versus Dallas last time I was here. So
you were confident. Yeah, you did. You like that Memphis thing was stupid. You did. You like them over. What are you feel? You must be feeling confident the rest of the way. Steph Curry was garbage, and you prevailed.
Oh, I feel I feel great. You know, but I'm at the point now where after the games, I'm ferociously looking for a scrap on Twitter. Anyone who disrespects the Warriors, I'm losing my freaking mind over this thing. I'm so excited. I'm so happy the Warriors have a chance to do it again. It's been an absolute pleasure to watch it. And I think that they get it done. Actually, in a Game 6, Clay does what he does. I think Steph goes for close to 40 again. I think they finish it in Boston.
Wow. Interesting. Any way that Steph doesn't win MVP if the Warriors win? I mean, I know there's a way, but what if he steps on the court?
Does Rachel Nichols still get an MVP vote?
You're right. I think we're sleeping on that. Yeah.
No, I don't. I think it's pretty done. I think that it's interesting. I've been so following the series so closely, and to actually just see the complete pendulum swing of every game of like, it's all about Steph. Oh, game 2 is like it was all about Draymond. Draymond's had a terrible series. He had one good, decent game, and all of a sudden it's Draymond's influence. Can Tatum be stopped? So the pendulum swings, and who knows? Back-to-back Wiggins crazy games back to back insane Wiggins games. If he does something awesome in game 6 again, he could Iguodala, Steph's and finals MVP, but no, I think if we win this, especially if Steph goes for more than 25 in game 6, I think it'd be a done deal. He's
a sentimental choice. All right, Mook, it's always a pleasure. I'm going to give you some free bet. What are your free bets? You want to announce them on the air, or you want to text me afterwards?
Oh, I'll take that Justin Rose play for sure. I'm really excited about that one.
Okay, was that +40 over 140 over
145
Bryson
over
and
Bryson
Woodland?
and Gary Woodland?
Yeah.
By the way, Paul, that was around so crazy. 3 bogeys. Three bogeys in that round.
3 eagles. It's absolute insanity. I'll put my money where I'm going to ride with anyone who's listening to my predictions. I'm going to ride with them. So I'll take Justin Thomas. I'll take Will Zalatoris. I'll go with those.
Okay. All right. There you go. Good job by you. Thanks for coming on. What's the book? Tell everyone to go out there and get it.
Man. just root for me. Playing in the Washington State Amateur Golf Championship, North Bellingham golf course. I probably got to fire a 75 to make it to the next round. And I think there's live scoring up in the Washington State golf app. So just send me positive vibes on Friday. I need it.
I will send the positive vibe. Just remember, this is not about putting. Honestly, I know you have it in your head about it's about putting, but it's not. Just get close to the pin. You'll be fine.
I might even bring a putter. Maybe I'll be like Phil, bring 2 drivers or something like that. I'll really overthink the whole thing.
Yeah, you should be exactly like Phil, whatever you do. All right. Thanks, Paul. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Paul. Awesome.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, fellas.
Good luck,
Thanks, Paul. Let's go. Let's get it.
Yeah.
See you, buddy.